Hello and welcome back, hopeful homesteaders. This is part 2 of the cross stitch beginners video. If you want to know what we did in part 1, just go back one video. I believe it is entitled part 1, counted cross stitch. In this video, we will finish up the project that we started in part 1, obviously, and we will start getting that done here shortly. If you are new to our channel, my name is Amy, my husband's name is John, and our channel is J&A Hopeful Acres, and we here just our vision for the channel is just to have a hopeful, thriving homestead. We here shortly are hoping to have a chicken coop. My husband, hopefully this weekend, will be getting started on making the chicken coop. So hopefully we'll get some videos out of that. The next video that should be coming out here real shortly will be my barbecued meatballs, but that was another requested, or should I say highly requested video from another one of my subscribers. So that will be the next video that is coming out. So let's get this video turned around so that we can finish our project that we had started in part 1, and we will get that finished up. And then at the end, when we finish up that project, at the end of that, when I come back with you folks, I will go ahead and finish up and answer a couple of the questions that were answered that were asked in part 1. I will go ahead and answer a couple of those a little more in detail for you guys, just to, I guess, touch a little more on that for you. And I guess we'll go from there. And I will go ahead and link where I got the pattern for what we are doing down in the description. And I also put it in part 1 also. So if you want it, you can also get it on part 1, but I will go ahead and link it in the description down below. So let's flip this camera around and get to working on that project. So we will see you here shortly. Okay, so here we are back here, getting back to the very end of our project. Excuse my messy desk here, but we are almost done with the heart, and we are literally down to the last 2 rows. So I am just making the crosses on the last 2 lines. So I will go ahead and finish up those last 2 lines here real quick. And I think that I have found a way here for it to be seen a lot better for you folks. My husband has helped me out here, so I'm hoping that this can now be seen a lot better by you guys. And then I will show you what it looks like once we get those 3 little crosses made with the green. It would be white for you guys if you're doing it by what the pattern says. Oh man, my other light just went out. Hang on, let me move my camera here so I can look at the pattern a little bit better. Oh man, my light went out, so now I really can't see. Doggone it. Oh, that light really helped. So now we're going to go right below this one to do the very last X. And then we have to make those 2 X's at the top of the heart that we skipped when we first started our project. All right, and then what I do to basically knot off the back, because obviously I'm running out of thread and there's not going to be enough, I don't think. Well, I might be able to. So what I usually do is I just take my thread and I usually just kind of let, so that I don't have knots and whatnot, I just kind of let the needle hang down there so that it'll, like, if there's any knots or anything, it'll just twist out anything that's there. But anyway, you run your needle through the back, just up through what you've done before, just very lightly, because you're not going to knot anything. Like I said, you don't want to make any knots or anything, but I just run it very gently up through the back, just so you're going through very gently through the back. See, like I'm doing? And then you're just going to pull. Well, if my needle will go through. Come on. So you're just going to pull your needle through. And like I had told you guys before, if you don't knot any of your stuff, your back of your project will look just about as good as the front of your project. So see, there's the front of your project, and the back should look just almost as nice as the front. And I actually think I might have enough embroidery floss to do it. So we've got 2 more stitches to make on the top here, and they just go right here. So we go right here, on the top. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm sorry if you can't. Maybe I won't. I'm trying to do this with all this one embroidery floss so that I don't have to get a whole new, basically thread my needle with a whole new thing of embroidery floss just to do 2 stitches. Because to me it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I am kind of going backwards from what I was going last time. But either way, it still doesn't matter because you're still making crosses. Dang it, or X's, but you're still going to get you're still going to get the same the same thing done. I mean, you're still going to make your X's, you're still going to make your crosses. So as long as you get the finished project done and you're still doing what you set out to do, that's all that matters, I suppose. So there you go. You've got your full heart made, and the only thing that we've got to do is, in my case, the green 3 stitches there. In your case, it would be the white if you followed by the pattern. So since we got that done, then we're gonna do just like I did to make those 2 stitches. We're just gonna go through the back and down, just very, very gently. Down through the back, like so, as to pretty much knot it per se. Pull your needle out, pull the thread down, and then just clip it, and there you go. There's your heart that you have made. And then let me get my needle threaded for the green that I'm going to put in there. And then I will be back with you to make those 3 stitches. And then I will show you how to backstitch that project. And I'll be back. All right, we got our needle threaded here. And just to make our 3 little stitches that we've got to make there, and there, these 3 right here. Since we've already got our back started here with yarn, or I'm sorry, not yarn, embroidery floss, we are going to do just like we did when we finished off our yarn. Boy, I can't talk tonight either. When we finished off our embroidery floss, we're going to do the same thing with this embroidery floss in the back for these stitches. I got to find out where we're going here. Okay, we're just going to start back here and just very gently go through the back here, just ever so slightly through a couple of the stitches back here, just so that way you don't have to hold your embroidery floss like you did when you first started out with your project. So you're going to, oops, oh man, and I just moved my camera again, doggone it. So you're just gonna pull it back like that, so it will look like so. And then usually what I do is I take my fingernail, since I have kind of long fingernails, and I just kind of hold the end of it just to make sure that, you know, it doesn't go anywhere. And then you see your crosses or your squares. You're just going to make your stitches right there in those squares for your 3 stitches that you have to make for this, which, like I said, if you are following the pattern the way that the pattern states, it would be white for you guys. But since I can't seem to, you know, follow a pattern the way that it's supposed to be followed, and I have to be, you know, obnoxious, I'm doing neon colors. So of course mine will be neon green, since I did neon yellow for my heart. So see, there's 1 slash, And you can actually, if you wanted to, which I might do, since they're just 3 stitches and they're pretty close together, I might just do like we normally do when we're doing a line. I might just do the 3 slashes first, and then just come up and make the X's. Oops. Doggone it, what did I do? I might just come make the X's just like we do when we're making a row. Normally, I would not tell you guys to do that. I would normally say, you know, if you're doing something like this, you would make the slashes and then, of course, make the X and then go on to the next row. Oops, come on, camera focus. Make the slash, make the cross to make your X, and then go on to the next row, and honestly, vice versa, But because these are so close together, and you're only making 3 of them, and then you're done, that's why I'm saying, I will probably just, make these 3 slashes and then just go back and make the X's. I guess I'm kind of doing this wacky, and I'm probably not teaching you guys the appropriate way. And I'm sorry, that's why I probably say I'm probably not the best teacher for this, so Tina, you probably should not have had me be the teacher for this, but disclaimer, I never claimed to be a teacher for counted cross stitch. That's probably why most all of my projects don't look all that great. As you can see in my part 1, my projects don't look the best. But I try, and I guess that's all that should matter, huh? I will say that as you get towards the end of your projects like this, and you're getting towards the end of your stitches, it will get a little bit harder to see where your squares are to make your X's, and where your basically where your squares are. But as you get further into counted cross stitch, you will be able to, I guess, feel, like you'll be able to just stick your needle in there and just feel where the square is. And that's kind of how I know. But there you go. There is your finished heart. That is what your heart should look like. That is a cute little heart, if I don't say so myself. I kind of like it, folks. I am quite impressed. I really like it. I'm kind of impressed. So now, just like we did with the other embroidery floss, we will, I know I keep redundantly saying it, just go through the back and just ever so gently go through these other stitches and just pull that thread. So nice. And then snip off the end. And if you look, I won't say if it's done right, because if you are a beginner, your projects are not going to be perfect, because let's be honest, folks, you're going to have mistakes. You're going to have, your projects are going to have they're not gonna look perfect. They're not gonna be perfect. And we're all set up to make some mistakes, and that's okay. That's why we're practicing. And that's why I had you guys start out with such a little tiny project, so that if you make a mistake, it's okay. And, so what if you do? But for a little tiny project and a little tiny heart, I think it's very, very cute. So now what I will do is I will unthread the green from this needle, and I will put some black on there, because for outlining, which is what I will show you how to do, for outlining any project, or I should say most projects, about 98% of your projects, you will always do your outlining in black. They will, any of your patterns will usually always ask you to outline in black. And the reason for that is most of your projects will be using colors that are, obviously lighter, and so black will stand out better. So that's why they usually always have you outline in black. And so that's why they always have you outline in black. And when you outline, most all of your projects are going to have you outline with one strand of embroidery floss. However, since with this one, it had you use 3 strands of floss to make the project, I'm going to be using 2 strands to outline. But like I said, with most of your projects, it's going to ask you to use 1 strand of floss to outline. So with this one, I'm going to use 2 strands. So let me back out of here, and I will thread my needle with the black, and I will show you how to outline. And then I will go ahead and start the outlining. And once I show you how to start the outlining, then I will just go ahead and let you guys finish the outlining, and you guys can go from there. I won't finish the outlining on my project because obviously you guys will see how to do it. And then, I'll finish up the outlining, obviously in my own time. But you guys can obviously finish up the outlining with yours. And then I will flip the camera around after I'm done doing that, and then you guys can actually see my face. But let me get this floss put into the needle, and I will actually show you guys how to outline. So let me get that done. Okay, here we are. Got my needle threaded, and just like before. Now with outlining, you can start anywhere you want to on the project. If you want to start at the bottom, you can start at the bottom. If you want to start on the top, you can start on the top. If you want to start down here, you can start down here. If you want to start, it doesn't matter where you start with outlining. It absolutely does not matter. Most people will start at the top of the project and work their way down. I usually start at the top and work my way down. I will tell you with this project, because you want, it does not tell you on this pattern that you can. I'm going to do it just because I'm going to show you guys how well it makes it pop. On here, because it's got these 3 little stitches here that are supposed to be, little, I would assume like little bubbles per se, to make the heart, I guess, pop per se. I'm going to outline these little stitches here to make them pop. So I'm going to start right there with the outlining just to show you. So just like we did before, we're going to start back here with our needle and just, you know, put our stitch back here. So that way you don't have to, I guess, hold it. But I usually do hold it for just a little bit, just to make sure that that floss doesn't go anywhere. And, oops, doggone it, I keep moving my camera. And so I'm just gonna hold it back there. Now outlining is pretty simple, pretty easy, and it usually goes by really, really quick. So with outlining, you're gonna start just right beside your X. Come on, needle. Okay, you're gonna start right beside your X, and you're gonna follow your X all the way around. Oops. And not knot your embroidery floss in the back like I just did. Because Amy was being stupid. Okay. So like I said, I like to still hold that embroidery floss just a little bit, just to make sure that it does not go anywhere. And I'm also using quite a bit of floss. You probably shouldn't use this much, but I do, just simply because I don't want to have to keep threading my needle. Come on, needle. Okay. Oops. So as you can see, once you start to get around your squares here, it starts to make things pop. And it just outlines everything. Oops. And it makes everything look kind of 3D. And that's really the purpose in outlining. And with outlining, you are also going to be going basically a square over. So, I'm sorry, I kind of got away from the camera. So, with your square, here's the end of your one square. So, with your outlining, you're going to be going over to this square here and going down there. I'm sorry, up there, not down there. I'm sorry. You're going to be going down, or I'm sorry, up there. I can't speak. So you're going to be going up here. If I can get my needle to cooperate. And normally you would have a hoop around this, so it would stretch things out so that your squares would spread out a little bit more, so that you would not have the problems that I am having right now. But my one hoop right now that I would use for this, I have currently on another project, so I do not have my hoop available. So that's why I'm having a lot of difficulty right now. And I also was trying to, I guess, be cool per se, because I thought, oh, I won't need it. And I really do. And some of these small projects, I normally don't use a hoop, but really, in all honesty, if you are beginning, you should be using a hoop, because they do help out a lot, especially for you beginners. You beginners, you know, when I was first beginning, I used a hoop, and they were a huge help to me. So, if I was, you know, a beginner, I think I would probably use a hoop. So, that would be the one thing that I can honestly say that I'm not using right now that I would use if I was beginning. So do not use that. Do not take that away from this video. Please use a hoop if you are beginning. So I will finish back stitching these little X's here, and then I will be back with you and I will show you how to outline the outline of the heart. Okay? Okay, well, I kind of lied to all you folks. I kind of got in my little zone there, and I kind of started back stitching, and I didn't realize how far I had gotten until I looked down and went, oh, poo, I guess I better stop. So here I have back stitched pretty much the entire project. Sorry, y'all. So as you can see, I finished up the 3 little stitches there on the heart, and you can see how it has popped those 3 little stitches there. So that is kind of how we, why we back stitch the inside of something that we would do, so that it pops it and just kind of makes it 3D and makes it stand out. And then from there you can honestly, Jiminy Christmas, I can't speak, why you can see why we would back stitch the entire project, because it makes it stand out and it makes it look like it is being lifted off of the Aida cloth, or off of the page, as you will. So just like you would excuse me, just as you would on these 3 little stitches here to back stitch your entire project, you would do the exact same thing that you would here with your 3 stitches that you did here, except for instead of going all around every single square, you're only going to go around the just the outline of it. And just like you do on the middle stitches here, I'll show you on some of these on an empty, I guess an empty square here. See where your squares here make a box? When you outline, you would go on the bottom of this one. So you would go under this stitch here. So you would go under this box here. You would come up there with your needle. And then you would go down on this one. And then if you're going to go over onto this one, you would go up on this hole here. So you would go up here, and then you would come back down here. So you would go up here, down here, up here, down here, if that makes sense. So you're just going to go literally all around your project. So I'll show you here. See how we've got this cross here, or I'm sorry, not this cross, this block here. I'm going to go up on this square here. No, come on, camera focus. I'm going to go up there. And I'm going to go down right here. So now you have done that one. And then to finish it up, because I only left 2 stitches, because I'm sorry, like I said, I kind of got in the zone here and forgot. So here you're going to go over here on this one. So I went up on this block here, and then I'm going to go down here, which will finish out this heart completely. And that will completely finish this heart all together. So there you go. You have completely outlined this project. So now your heart 1 does not look so blocky. So now your heart actually has, instead of it being so blocked out, your heart actually has a like an actual point on the top of it here. Instead of it just being blocks, it actually has a point. And at the bottom, it actually has, oh, you know what? I missed one here. Ah. Stupid me. Where did I miss it? Oh, there it is. So I missed it right here. Oops. Okay. So as you can see, there was a white piece right here that I missed. So I would need to go up right here on this block and go down here. So that is exactly what I'm going to do, which will fill in that little area. So now it's completely done. I lied before. Now it's completely done. So now your heart is completely outlined and it looks so pretty. So there is your entire project completely done. Now if you wanted to, you could cut this out so that it was not on this big piece of Aida cloth. You could actually cut this out so that it's just a little square, and you could save, you know, this whole bottom area and do, you know, another one. Or you could actually, you know, make another 2 hearts here and make a line of hearts, and you could make yourself a little pillow. I mean, you could do, you know, a ton of different things that you want to with this. I mean, the sky's the limit with what you want to do with this. You could do, you know, a million different things with what you want. I will probably actually make you know, a heart up here, a heart over here, and then I'll probably do a couple more hearts here, and I'll probably make, you know, another little tiny throw pillow or something, or I might even end up making a quilt later with it. Who knows? I'll figure out something. What I'll probably end up doing for now is I will, actually I'll do that right now. I will just tie off the back of this, if you will. I will just take my string here, tie this off, or knot it off as you will. I call it knotting it off, but you're not really knotting it. So there you go. There's no embroidery floss, no strings, no nothing. Nothing is attached. Your project is done. So there is my final project. My project is done. And there you have it. And now I will turn this camera around so that we can actually talk face to face. Okay, so now that we have gotten our project done and it looks so pretty, I am still very, very impressed with how well this little project came out. I could not be more impressed with it. Like, I just cannot be, I'm just really impressed with it. And I have not decided yet whether or not I'm going to make 3 or 4, maybe 5 more of them. And I'm going to find something to do with it because I really think it's kind of cute. So, I wrote down a couple of the questions that were on the cross stitch or counted cross stitch part 1. I wrote them down on a notebook over here, so if I keep looking down, it's because I have the questions written down on a notebook. It's not because I'm trying to be rude. So one of the things that came up on the part 1 was, do you have to start in the middle of the project? No, you don't. You absolutely do not have to start in the middle of the project. And no, it is not made just for big projects. In my personal experience, I have found that the bigger projects are when I start in the middle of the project. I am a person that is, how do I say it? I am a person that needs to have very entailed directions, and I need directions that are very slow, directions that I can go back and look at time and time again. So the only ones that I have found that I have needed to start in the middle of the project were the big projects. If you look at the part 1 video that I did, the princess that I did for my niece, that one I started in the middle of the project. And I will tell you, that princess took me close to a year, almost a year and a half to finish. Not because I was working on it diligently every single day, but because I got very, very frustrated with that project. I, at many times during that project, had to take a seam ripper and rip out a lot of the stitches and restart because I missed, you know, at times 25 to 30 stitches because I missed my place. And that is actually when I started using the pencil to shade in my stitches. And that's why I started doing that, because it was the only way I could keep track of where I was in the project. So that was one thing that somebody had said, you know, oh, that's a really good idea. I'm going to start using that from now on, was the pencil shading in. You don't have to do that, obviously. That's just something that I have found works for me really, really well. And I have I've kept up with it, and it seems to work really, really well for me. So no, you don't have to start in the middle of the project. No, it is not only for big projects. However, I have found personally for me that it works better for big projects. Now, if you are doing, a small project like what we did, if you started in the middle of the project, obviously, you would have started in the middle of this project. Obviously, you would have started probably here, and you could have worked down or you could have worked up. It totally would have been to your preference. For that little of a project, that's why I started it at the top and I worked down, because it was so small. Or actually on that project, if I would have been thinking, I probably should have started at the very, very bottom and worked my way up. That way we were not backtracking just to do those last 2 stitches at the top of the heart. So if I was teaching you right, I probably should have started at the very bottom of the heart and worked up. So for that, I'm sorry, students. But there again, I never claimed to be a teacher. I did these videos strictly because Tina from Striving for the Simple Life has been asking me to do a video, because she really, really, I don't know if she just wanted some extra tips or what, but she really wanted me to do a video. And her and I had been talking about counted cross stitch, and I told her that, I have done zillions of projects and I do it in my free time. And like I had said in part 1, I originally started counted cross stitch because when I quit smoking the first time, that's how I quit, because it kept my fingers busy. And now, because I started watching Tina, I am going to, I think, use, not embroidery, I'm going to use knitting and crocheting to try to quit smoking this time, and vaping, because I really, really, really need to quit for good this time. So that's what I'm going to do. So Tina, please, please, please keep putting out more knitting videos, because this girl needs to learn more about knitting, and I seriously need some more knitting stuff. So so that was one of the bigger questions that was asked, was about the starting in the middle of the project. What was one of the other ones? I think that was the biggest question really that was asked, was starting in the middle of the project. So no, you don't. So let's do a recap of what you've learned. You have learned how to start a new project, obviously. You have learned how to stitch a box. You've learned how to thread your needle. You have learned how to separate your floss. You have learned how to knot your floss, or not your floss. You have learned how to start your floss after you run out of floss and need to start a new one, or your old one runs out, I'm sorry. And you've learned how to backstitch. So that's quite a bit to learn in 2 little videos. So I really hope that this video has helped. I'm sorry that I am not the best teacher. I am sorry if I did not teach you the appropriate way. Like I said in the first video, I tried, and I guess that's all that can be asked of anybody. So if you like this video, please share it. As always, please like, please subscribe, and please stay humble, please stay kind, be nice to others. Also, one other little bulletin there. I would love to see any of your projects that you've done. just email me at jnahopefullacres@mackays.com, MACKAYZ.com. We do also have a Facebook page, JNA Hopeful Acres. I do also post on our discussion board on our page every once in a while, so please check that out. I know a lot of people don't, but I do every once in a while, so please check that out, because I do post on there. So I believe that's it. So until then, I'll catch you on the next one, folks. I hope you enjoy. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.